What I want to give you today is a little bit less training and a little bit more passing on of wisdom, if you don't mind. See, a question that has come up in my own mind, and I know that it's come up in other abolitionists' mind, is how do we respond to pro-lifers in love? You see, many of us find that it's easier to speak to the wicked pro-abort in love. We see their sin and their shame and their wickedness. We see what they desire to cover up. And so it's easy to look at them in love because, to be honest, many of us pity them. But the pro-lifer we see as this person who's creating these exceptions and this deception of calling themselves pro-life while standing to endorse the murder of some children over others. And we see them as practicing this ecumenical, godless game. And we want that righteous indignation, and to be honest, for many of us it feels good to be angry justly. And so we need to remember as we look at these people that most of them truly do believe that what they're doing is from the heart. I've met very few pro-lifers, outside. We're not talking the big names, we're not talking the professionals, the people who are making a profit. We're talking about the pro-lifer who sits outside of a clinic and prays a rosary, or the sidewalk counselor who sits and tells women about the free ultrasounds across the street. See, for those people, they genuinely mean it. I have met many pro-lifers over my life that I believe, although they are doing things wrong and although they are living in sin and in paganism and idolatry, or as atheists or as relativists, that they still truly do desire in the bottom of their heart to see women's lives saved and to see children's lives saved. They truly do believe that going out and praying a rosary is going to end abortion. These are not the wicked people who are making a profit off of spreading these lies and off of playing political games. These are the people who are being used as pawns in those games unwittingly. And so when we talk to the pro-lifer and they get mad because we stand against Catholicism, or they get mad when we say, praying to Mary isn't going to end abortion. When we say 40 days for life, what about 365 days for life? They're going to get mad and they're going to get hurt by these things, not because they have to defend a falsehood, although that is what many times they're doing, but because they have to defend what they truly believe is right. And it truly is what they believe is right. And so be merciful when we speak to them. Have compassion, even pity, when we talk to them on the streets and at the clinic and on Facebook. Look at them through the eyes of Christ, who loved so much so that he died even while we were yet sinners. Look upon them and say, hold on, I know what you're going through. For most of us, this should be something easy. Many of us once were pro-lifers. We once played the falsehood games. We fell for the political lies. And so when you stand out there and you talk to these pro-lifers, remember that at one time you were that pro-lifer. I got arrested in front of the White House. One of the most wasted 4 days of my life. It felt good for me, but I did nothing to affect the abolition of abortion. I spent a night once outside of a clinic guarding a giant idolic picture of Jesus with his heart cut open. And this story about some pagan who had received this vision of how to draw the perfect image of Christ for the 300th time. And I stood there for 6 hours guarding this outside of a clinic for the 40 Days campaign. I accomplished nothing. I got no closer to abolishing abortion. But I thought that I was doing good. I felt that what I was doing was right. I desired to make an impact. And so I too was once one of those deceived sheep. I too was lost, but now I'm found. And so remember that. Remember the song of the abolitionists. Remember Amazing Grace. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, and now I see. Because you too were once lost, and now you are found. You too were once blind, and now you see. And to say, I'm blind, and now I can see. Oh, but you're blind, and I reject you. That would be wicked in the eyes of God. Instead, look upon these people and say, I too was once blind. I too was once deaf. I too was once ignorant. And all I desire is for you to see the light as I have seen the light. And so remember that while they may not be our brothers and sisters, and while we may not actually be fighting the same fight, that we are commanded by Christ to speak to them in love. And I believe that the greatest way of doing that is to remember who we once were before we became the men and women that we are today. And to use that knowledge and to gain wisdom from it so that we can speak in compassion. So that we don't just turn off the pro-lifer because yes, we desire division. But division can happen from them coming to our side, not just from pushing them away. And they will never come to our side if we cannot preach the gospel and preach abolition to them in love, in compassion, and in mercy.